That's right, ladies and gentlemen. WrestleMania week's over. You thought all the debuts were done with, but guess what? There's one more. Your boy, the Golden Boy of the Board of Doom is here. I'm back from Orlando, and I'm here to give you 5 things I took from my WrestleMania experience.
I'm BigPapaGrump for the Board of Doom. This is Golden Boy. He's going to tell us all about his WrestleMania weekend in Orlando. There's still lots of hate for you on that one.
I'm sorry, man. Look, I'm a working man, all right? I saved up for a year, saved my lunch money, cut back. Had to buy, the prepackaged ham from the grocery store. That's what I did to go to WrestleMania, peoples. Papa, all hail your queen. Yes, that's right. I'm talking about you, the one, the only, Miss Charlotte Flair, Miss Second Nature. I'm telling you, she lit up my whole weekend, Papa. Charlotte will main event WrestleMania.
To tell you the truth, I'm a big Charlotte fan myself. Obviously, not on the scale of Golden Boy. I love Charlotte. Charlotte's great. She's by far the best woman wrestler on the entire roster, if not in the top 10 on just the roster overall. If they were going to take the title off her, I thought it should have been a Mania. That would have been the big crowning achievement for Bayley. I agree there. But between her and Sasha and Bayley, and if they ever get Paige back, and if they ever give Emma a fair shot, there's Becky Lynch is there, Alexa Bliss is getting better. The odds that one of them is going to headline WrestleMania with Charlotte at some point are pretty good. I'm behind you on that one.
Charlotte versus Asuka, maybe?
Oh, that would be great.
Got me off my feet, jumping, screaming at the top of my lungs, was that corkscrew moonsault off the top to the bottom on all the other Raw female competitors. I loved it. It was better than the moonsault you hit last year in the triple threat. Absolute beast. You're an athletic monster. You're the best woman in the division, in my opinion. Again, one of the top just overall superstars. You're the queen. Now, lucky enough for me, I got my very short experience with Charlotte during Access on Saturday, and I gotta tell you, the queen, she's very, very faithful to her peasants, her servants like myself, okay? I want to tell you this. Everybody that came up, she had a smile on. She made sure it was an experience for that person, whether it was kid, adult man, female, teen, anybody. Every single person that came up, shook her hand. She made them feel welcome. She had a smile on her face, gave them an experience that they wanted, which is why you go to Fan Access. You get a chance to meet these people. I had to wait in line for about 2 hours for her. At the end, I was about 15 people away from her. Security starts pulling her off. The next group of superstars comes on. Charlotte, she gets off the stage. She goes off to the side. Naturally, the queen gets mobbed by many fans trying to get a quick snapshot with her, a quick autograph, anything they could do. So security goes, she pulls her back. They have to take her around to the other stage. I'm in the front, and I just asked very politely, Charlotte, can I get a quick picture with you? Which naturally, she saw the look in my eyes. She knew I'm faithful to her. She came over, she got a quick snapshot with me. She didn't have to do that. It was quite nice of her. After 2 hours of meeting people, signing autographs, taking pictures, she was nothing but courteous to us. And just props for that, Charlotte. I love you. You're the best. Thank you for that. Just very small experience. I appreciate it.
Now, keep in mind, I know that we haven't really gone into previous board picks, but he has picked Charlotte every single pay-per-view since she came up to the main roster.
Papa, tell the people who you think is the best champion on the roster right now. I don't care if it's Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Give me, who's your favorite champion? Who's the best champion on the roster?
Tyler Bates.
The best champion on the roster right now is none other than the king of the cruiserweights, the man that gravity forgot, your cruiserweight champion, Neville. Now look, I get it. Among the fans, among the internet fan base, everything like that, there's a certain stigma that comes with being placed on the kickoff show. Okay? And I'll agree with you. That rings true for every other pay-per-view, but not for WrestleMania weekend. Not for WrestleMania. WrestleMania weekend, it's long. There's a lot of activities. You're in Orlando. It's hot. You've already been sitting in your seats for hours. You're ready for this show to begin. When Austin Aries' music hits, who, by the way, is an excellent opponent to Neville, Absolutely love that pick. I was super excited about that match right off the gate. I've loved Austin Aries for years. I think his mannerisms, his offensive moveset, the way he dives around the ring. I love his suicide dive between that middle and bottom rope. Absolutely love Austin Aries. Couldn't have picked a better competitor for Neville. But, again, it's a long weekend in WrestleMania weekend. So when that kickoff music hits, the crowd is hyped. The crowd is lit. And I don't know how well it translated to TV, but that crowd was popping. Every single strike, every single offensive high-flying maneuver, the crowd was into it. Neville and Aries put on one heck of a show. But again, Neville, he's your best champ in the business right now. Every single person that's stepping up to him, he's taking them down. Whether you think you're the better high flyer, Neville's got your beat. Whether you think you're the best technical wrestler, Neville's got your beat. And whether you think you're a submission specialist, hey, guess what? I haven't seen the Rings of Saturn in a long time, but Neville's making people tap out for it, just like he did on Monday Night Raw against Mustafa Ali. So, in my opinion, Neville, it was your debut at WrestleMania. It was well-deserved. I hope you enjoyed it. I loved it. I know a lot of the fans loved it. When everybody was filing out at the end of the night, a lot of the crowd, talking, what was the best match of the night? What was your favorite match of the night? And Neville, Aries, your two names came up a lot, all right? I know I loved it, so it was great. Neville, you're the best champ in the business. Keep doing what you're doing. Happy for all the excess. I'm happy for you finally got on your WrestleMania moment, the WrestleMania stage. Well-deserved.
Just to interject, the one of the things about it being on the pre-show is, yes, it's always looked down upon whenever a match is on the pre-show, but a lot of times you'll get guys, they're trying to steal the show. And you kind of knew that the cruiserweights were going to end up on the pre-show because of where they are in the pecking order, unfortunately, and we touched on that in a prior video a little bit. But the thing that really gets me is that early in the show where the seats aren't full. I mean, they, like you said, they were popping. You could hear it on the TV. They were getting into it, especially towards the end. I love Neville as a heel. When he was kind of showing heelish tendencies in NXT, when he was feuding with Sami Zayn and he would do like leaning towards heelish things, it was like, okay, there's a chance this guy could be a really good heel. He comes back, he turns heel, and he's been one of the best heels on the roster. I mean, my favorite heel right now is still The Miz. I think he's knocking it out. But Neville's no slouch when it comes to building heel heat, and he's doing it legit. I love the fact that he was refusing to do the Red Arrow for a while.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
He did go for the Red Arrow at WrestleMania, but he didn't against Mustafa Ali.
Yeah,
I knew there was a moment somewhere
Raw
over the weekend where he didn't do it. But yeah, and Austin Aries, it'll come out in later videos. I'm not a TNA guy. I've never really liked TNA, but I've always, whenever I would flip over to TNA, if Austin Aries, AJ Styles, if either of those two were on, I would always stop. And then every once in a while you get it where they'd actually wrestle against each other, and those matches were magic. Why? Because Austin Aries can go.
The tag team division is alive and well. Tag team division's on fire right now. Biggest pop of the night was
The Hardys.
The Hardys, right? Again, some people thought they knew it was coming. Other people had no idea. We all know the Hardys have been on fire these last year or two. Absolute fire. Everybody's loving them. You saw the chants scattered all throughout WrestleMania and even NXT, Raw, SmackDown the nights after. Super happy the Hardys are back. That Fatal 4-Way tag match, they put on one heck of a show. All the competitors, in my opinion, did. It was a great, fast-paced match. You had a lot of awesome spots. Everybody's getting involved, hitting offensive maneuvers, taking some big bumps. Obviously, at the end there, you get Matt with the twist of fate, hitting Anderson off the top of the ladder. Jeff going up, hitting that Swanton bomb.
That Swanton off the ladder was great.
Going through Cesaro, going through Sheamus. It was a great moment. Arguably, with the exception of that final match, definitely one of the biggest moments people are going to remember about this WrestleMania. But we're not just talking about WrestleMania. Going back, looking at it, arguably the best match of the entire weekend. I'm talking SmackDown, Raw, WrestleMania, NXT. I'm even talking about the matches that were in the stands during WrestleMania. Quite arguably, the best match to me was that triple threat tag match between the Revival, DIY, and the Authors of Pain during NXT TakeOver.
Say yeah.
Say yeah. We love the Revival. Huge fans. Been fans of you forever. Again, that match, great energy, great pace. great. Just everybody, you could tell the entire crowd was completely invested in that match. Kudos to DIY. Kudos to the Rival. Everybody knows what these guys can do. They're some of the best in the world, some of the best salesmen in the world. Their offense looks amazing. Just the little things they do in the ring just makes sense in the tag division. I love it. But not a popular opinion, because if you watch TV, you might have heard the chant saying, nobody likes you. Well, I'll tell you what, Authors of Pain, I like you. I'm big on the Authors of Pain right now.
Yeah, we Junior and I talked about it in the NXT Takeover video where, the Authors of Pain, obviously they're not at the top yet. They're, as far as, they're still developing, they're still getting better, they're still mastering their craft, so to speak. And yes, they're a big bruisey type tag team, so you're going to have the potential for dull matches. But when you put them in the match they had against when they took the belts off of DIY, whether you want to say DIY made them look great or not, they still ended up looking very dominant, very good. It was a better match than I was expecting. And then you get into this one with the triple threat, and you throw in the Revival, and you're like, the Authors of Pain don't need to do anything except take bumps, and they'll still look great with those two teams. But then you see that the Authors of Pain they're getting better. I mean, yes, you can't really tell them apart. They dress the same, they look the same, they have the same exact personality. But I think the idea behind that is that Paul Ellering is the personality there.
AOP, Revival, DIY, you guys absolutely tore the house down. By far the best match of the night at NXT TakeOver. You had the crowd in the palm of your hands, and kudos for it. Tag team wrestling, it's alive, and it's going well. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about him. I'm talking about the one, the only, AJ Styles, baby. And why do I want to talk about AJ so much? That's right.
Because he's phenomenal.
Because he's phenomenal. That's exactly right. Look, we're all experts, right? We all think we're experts. Well, all I've been reading the weeks up to WrestleMania, all I've been seeing and hearing about people saying is AJ Styles is getting treated unfairly. He deserves to be in the main event of WrestleMania. And I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree that he deserves to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Guy's earned, he's been all over the world. He's been the best in the world for 20 years. Now, what people were saying that I didn't like is the fact that he got Shane McMahon as an opponent, and a lot of people started dragging AJ and Shane through the dirt, saying this match was going to be terrible, they were going to underperform, yada, yada, yada. It was just going to be a waste of a match, a waste of time. But what happened? AJ Styles does what he always does. He steals the show, and arguably the best match of the night, probably my favorite match of the night, even though it opened the show. What do you think?
It was one of my favorite matches of the night. I am one of the people that was, I would say, optimistically worried about how that match would end up going. You knew AJ was going to go. The question, I think, at least for people that weren't just flat out hating on it, was Shane's getting up there in age. We saw what he did last year, and it was still good. But, it's a year later, and he's a year older, and that comes up with pretty much everybody, like any older wrestler. They're like, oh, you're a year older, you can't go. But it ended up being, like we said in the recap video, it was a spot match, but it was a good spot match. Like, all the spots were good. The whole trash can bit between the two of them, especially when he threw the trash can and hit AJ with it. But AJ Styles is incapable of putting on a bad match. So I think a lot of the question came down to Shane. And Shane delivered.
Look, here's my opinion on Shane. All right. First off, who's his daddy? That's right, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the genetic jackhammer. All right. Shane McMahon's got genetic jackhammer genes. Jackhammer Jr. All right. Look, when he came back last year, he looked in phenomenal shape. You can see it in Shane. You can tell he's been working out. Everybody knows he does the MMA, the jiu-jitsu. Looked like he's in phenomenal shape. So, me, just as a fan looking at it, not as an analytical standpoint, Shane McMahon can fight. They've been hyping it up to be a wrestling match. I loved how the referee got knocked out with the Styles kick, and then they get in, start bruising a little bit, throwing the trash can. I love Shane going up for that classic elbow. He's one of the best in the business at that elbow. Just the way he gets that whip and that torque, drives it down through the announce table. I love the fact that Styles moved. That was great. He wasn't going to get hit with it twice. Why? Because AJ's too good. He's not going to get hit with the same move twice. So, I don't know, going into it, I knew it was going to be a good fight. As far as technical wrestling matches, you expect that stuff from AJ. You don't expect it from Shane. If you want to watch technical wrestling, watch your cruiserweights. You can watch Owens and Jericho. There's other places in the card for that. So, AJ, Shane, you guys open up the show. The crowd was super involved into it. The crowd was still hot at this point. They weren't burned out. Like I said, it's a long weekend. Through in and throughout, it's a very long weekend. So by the end of the show, definitely a lot of people were drained. But you guys kept everybody out of their seat. A lot of people, didn't expect it to be that great. I did, because I'm a believer. I'm a believer in the phenomenal one. And you guys did what you were supposed to do. You tore the house down.
So you can't talk about WrestleMania weekend or WrestleMania without talking about the main event of the show, which was Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. And there's a lot's been said. A lot more is going to be said about that match as far as, The Undertaker's last match and whether or not Roman Reigns should be the chosen one. That debate goes circles and circles and circles, and you can go on forever about it. But you've got a little different aspect of it you want to address.
When I go to WrestleMania, I want to have fun. Whether it's cheering, whether it's booing, anything I want, you yell, you scream, you paid your ticket, you can do whatever you want with that.
Delete chants, stupid idiot,
And believe me, there was a lot of fun chants going on. Now, the thing I want to address is, to me, if you go to a show to be for a wrestling show, especially when you're going to something as big as Mania, as big as this, my suggestion to all the people watching is go as a fan, okay? Remember, you're a fan first. You're a kid, you're watching this stuff. It just blew me away when I was a kid. Over 25 years later, here, I'm still watching it. I love it, okay? It's my favorite thing in the world. What I seen at Mania, and especially during the Undertaker-Roman Reigns match, and even throughout the day, you have a lot of people out there that love Roman Reigns. Rightfully so. The guy's a freak. He's an athletic beast. The Superman punch, the spear. It's a lot of cool stuff he's got going on for him. I can definitely see why fans love him. Kids love him. My girlfriend, if you believe that I have a girlfriend, she absolutely loves him. All right, a lot of the women do. But the fan base that hates him. What I seen a lot over the weekend is you'd have a lot of people wearing Roman Reigns gear, shirts, the cool vests they were selling. And every time they would walk through, they would get harassed, they would get bullied, they would get some of the sickest stuff you could say to a stranger get thrown at them, okay? And it's not just FUs, it's a little bit of everything. Stuff about your family, your friends, how much of an idiot you are, all kinds of this stuff. Basically just gang up on them, okay? Gang mentality. You've all seen it. We know what it's like. You're sitting in your seat and you feel like you want to get up and cheer, but then you have 10 guys over your back, thinking they're going to throw beer on you or anything like that. And to a point, that's kind of what I was seeing with the Roman Reigns stuff, okay? So what I'm getting at is here, and especially during the Roman Reigns, a lot of the Undertaker match, you could feel it on, you go back and you watch it on TV, you could kind of feel it, you could sense maybe the energy's kind of draining from the crowd, and you can sense you can blame it on a lot of different factors. You could blame it on the fact that it was a heck of a long weekend, okay? You could blame it on the fact that it was hot. You could blame it on the fact that a lot of people had the feeling that Undertaker was going to lose, and that they know they were watching the end of the Undertaker's career, okay? So you have a lot of those different factors that go into it. My thing is, if I know The Undertaker, if this is going to be his last match, whether I'm cheering, booing, anything like that, I'm going to give it everything I got and just let him know to feel appreciated. Because what's the number one thing you want in a wrestling match? You want a reaction out of the crowd. Whether it's positive, whether it's negative, you want noise. And I'm in a prime location for this, and I feel it a lot of the sections around me, a lot of people around me. A lot of people just sat there, okay? And you had your fans that wanted to cheer for Roman, but then they didn't want to get ganged up on. And then you had those fans that were doing that gang mentality, bullying in a sense. They just want to sit there and they just want to go like this. Man, I don't want this. This isn't what we want. I don't want this. And I feel like they were pulling a lot of the energy out of the arena for the Undertaker and Roman Reigns match. My opinion, Undertaker definitely doesn't deserve that. He doesn't have to have that energy, taken away from the match. You had a lot of people quiet. Even the ones that wanted to cheer for the Undertaker, they didn't cheer for the Undertaker. A lot of people, going for Reigns or even with the Roman sucks chants, you didn't hear a lot of it out. I don't know. I just felt like a lot of unappreciative fans were pulling a lot of the energy out of the match. So that's just my spin on it. Again, you heard a lot of different takes, whether it be from the long days or just the fact that they don't like Roman, they didn't want him to win. But I don't know. I just felt like you had a lot of entitled fans pulling out of the experience because of they were upset that Roman was going to retire The Undertaker. And believe me, I was sad too, but I appreciate The Undertaker. I appreciate his body work. I appreciate Roman Reigns. I'm not a Roman Reigns hater. I'm not a Roman Reigns lover. I think the guy, what he does between the ropes is a great thing. And, you know, with every Superman punch, with every spear through my childhood, you know, I felt it too. Basically, what I'm just trying to get a point across is when you go to these things, be vocal, be a fan, but try not to be cynical. Try not to take away from the experience, because I felt like that happened a little bit with Undertaker's last match. Undertaker's an absolute legend in the business. A lot of people argue he might be the greatest to ever lace up his boots, put on those gloves, put on that jacket. So Undertaker doesn't deserve that. Roman Reigns doesn't deserve that. The other fans that go, they pay their hard-earned money to go, buy a ticket, save up, just like I did. You know, you don't want to be brought into that negative environment, which I feel a lot of people tried to bring into Camping World Stadium. But you know what? I thought they put on a hell of a match. Undertaker, you're going out swinging. You went out. It took a lot to keep you down, man. It didn't take just 3 spears. It took you 4. All right, not a lot of people could say that.
The slingshot spear.
The slingshot hyper spear that I heard Junior call it. You know, it took a lot to keep you down, man. The chair shots, and you know what, Undertaker, you're one of the best ever. At the end of the match, when you were laying there and flat in the ring, looking up at the lights, you know, I hope you enjoyed every second of it, soaked every second of it in. Undertaker, you're the best. I hope you enjoyed all your moments at WrestleMania, especially after the match. Leaving it all in the ring like that, coming up the ramp, and hearing everybody chant your name. If anybody deserves it, you sure do.
Now, it was nice that the crowd actually came back.
They definitely did.
For The Undertaker, because I think they realized in the moment that they were seeing history.
Yeah.
Even if it was just, well, maybe, but you don't want to miss out on that. And I think they reined it back in, no pun intended.
Yeah.
You know, gave The Undertaker the exit he deserved.
100%. No one probably ever get an exit like that in wrestling. I've never seen nothing like that, and I'm sure
we will be doing
that again.
We will be doing an Undertaker appreciation video very shortly. So
very shortly.
We're just trying to figure out who wants to be in it and whether and how we want to do it. But yes, I've been Big Papa Grump from the Board of Doom.
And I'm Golden Boy of the Board of Doom. I hope you appreciated this video. These were just my 5 takeaways from my experience WrestleMania weekend. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.